15 years. It's like a lie. I apologize. I lied. For 15 years, I've been saying this is a 120-gallon tank. I just measured this little thing. It's only 109. Okay, so welcome to another video. In this video, we're going to take a look at that 109-gallon tank. Now, I almost was a little disappointed that when I measured it out, it became 109 gallons when I thought all this time it's been 120 gallons. I was thinking maybe I should just replace it, sell this off and buy a whole brand new tank and stuff. But you know, there's a history to this tank and it holds a lot of memory for me. This is how it went. So about 15 years ago, I had a business that I ran with a friend, and he's one of my best friends and a business partner at that time. Well, he's the one that got me back in aquariums, because you see, when I was younger, I had my own aquariums, but after that, after high school, I just forgot all about it. Cut to a few years later where I met him and we started business together, and he was into aquariums, which in turn got me back into aquariums. Well, one day he decided to get a new big tank, and he's asking me, "Hey mate, you want this tank?" I say, "Oh yeah, sure, why not, mate?" Now, I don't know why I use that accent. I'm not Australian, he's not Australian. So at the time I was dating a beautiful young girl, and I called her my girlfriend. Sure, we were madly in love. She moved down from Austria to live with me and do her schooling. It's that time that she got into aquariums because I got into aquariums, and we did our aquariums together. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. A few months later, decided to break up amicably and civilly. Actually, that's not how it happened. There was a lot of crying, a lot of shouting, a lot of screaming. But I didn't want to say that because, you know, men don't cry. Well, that's not exactly true. Men don't cry unless they're watching Rudy.
Me too, Coach. I'm ready to dress him out, please.
Me too, Coach. Me too. So because of heartbreak and depression, I decided not to do the tanks anymore, and I just let it go and let it die out. That was 15 years ago, and through that 15 years, these tanks just sat around. I did nothing with it. I just ignored them. Cut to maybe 2.5 years ago, I decided to get back to the aquariums and started a YouTube channel, which you're watching now. So why did it take so long? Maybe it's the memory of the pain, the suffering, the horror that happened when we had that breakup. Or perhaps I just didn't have time for it. But the time is now. It's time to move forward. Let's do something with this tank. Now, originally, this was a planted community tank. We had tons of stuff, put CO2 in it, and it just exploded. Now, I've always wanted to have my own discus tank. That's what my business partner had. That's what this tank was. It was a discus tank. I fell in love with that kind of fish, and I fell in love with planted tanks, and putting those together just makes a gorgeous discus tank, which you probably could attest to. And if you don't, well, maybe this whole series will change your mind. But first, we're going to take a look at the state of this tank, and it's kind of exciting. Now, I haven't looked in this tank except for once in that 15 years just to find something. It's kind of like watching a video that you don't want no one to know about, you know, those kind of videos. Sexy baby, oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay, so how are we going to do this? How are we going to set this up? Well, let's go through this piece by piece. It's really simple, and there's actually an opinion that I want to get from you. First of all, lighting. Let's check this out. So originally, I put up or installed compact fluorescent bulbs. They're actually a 96 watt there. That's that big one on top. And then 255 watts in the back of the hood, as you can see here. Now, these lights still do work. If I change the bulbs out, they will work. But the problem with compact fluorescent back then anyways, when it was big and popular and the thing to get, it's kind of outdated now. We're going with LEDs now. But let me show you what I'm planning to use and try out on this tank. I'll probably piss off some viewers. Floodlights, flood lamp, whatever, 50 watts. I'm gonna run 2 of these. It might be a little too big for this, but if it's a problem, we'll size down. In this tank, we're gonna go with Java ferns, Amazon swords, maybe some Wendetti crypts. So this should work. Now the other thing is I'm going to get a third flood lamp. It'll be a grow light, which I'll put on in the middle here. It won't cover the whole tank because these are giving you that spotlight configuration, but at least it'll give it some more of that red spectrum for the plants to grow more fuller. Either way, we get to test it out, see if it works, and you guys will get to see it in action. For CO2, 5-pound tank. We'll use this as well as one of the regulars I got from China. As you can tell, we're going with what I currently have on hand just to save some money, but that might depend on what I decided to put underneath that tank. Okay, it's a mess under here, but this is the old stuff I had in here. I had this old Reina Filstar XP right there. That was the old filter, which on hindsight now wasn't enough to run this tank, but I guess it did its job. I have underneath here a power strip already installed. So most of everything here is already installed, ready to go and get set up. Now the problem is what do I want to put under here as my filtration system? Okay, one option is to use the Sunsun filter I have here. It runs about 525 GPH, which means it'll run about 5.2 cycles in the tank per hour, which is shy of 1. Actually, we want at least 6 times the cycle in the tank. Not enough GPH for my taste. But hey, free filter. So if I'm going to use it for this tank, I got to use it for some kind of tank. So what does that mean? We got to get another tank. I'm just kidding. I'm not getting another tank. Not yet. One tank at a time. So then what are the other options? One thing I really want to do is get a sump or build a sump. And to do that, I would like a 40-gallon tank. Unfortunately, there's a problem with that. A 40-gallon breeder will not fit under here. A 40-gallon breeder is about 36 inches, and we have about 30-inch, 29 at the most. Okay, and because there's a mid-bar here that kind of blocks out most of the space to go to the next part of the stand right here. So that can be fixed. We build a new stand. Another option would be to build my own sump. I mean, literally get some acrylic sheets and build it. Biggest problem there is the price. If I'm going to pay for the acrylic sheets and I kind of priced it all out, already pre-cut and everything, or cut myself, I just buy a big sheet, whatever, it's pretty expensive. So really that is kind of out of the budget. You know, if I'm going to spend that much money on buying the acrylic sheets to make a sump, I might as well buy one, say, from Custom Aquariums, where they have those really cool sumps. One of the reasons why I want to build a sump is because I want to actually try plumbing. I never actually plumbed an aquarium, and it'll give me some practice, especially when I want to plumb that 55-gallon I have over there when I turn it into a reef tank. Now I've already got some stuff for the aquascape for what I'm going to do in this tank. I think you saw in the previous video. Okay, so this I got at an auction just recently over at my local fish club, and it's pretty big. I think it'll fit in that tank. Will it fit in that tank? It will, but I think I'm gonna have to do some snippy. Okay, now I also mentioned that I'm gonna put a lot of Java fern in this tank. And luckily I have a head start because I grew out a lot of Java fern from that 20-gallon long over there that you guys have seen in the previous video. And here in my grow out tank, I got tons, right? Of course, I'm probably gonna get a lot more, but I'll go ahead and talk to a few friends that might be able to hook me up. And for rocks, and because I'm gonna put some rocks in there, I'm gonna need a lot of rocks to anchor some of that Java fern on as well. I'll get some lava rock over at a rock yard. Now you want to see what's inside here. I know it's really dirty, and look at that. I mean, we have to clean that up, but it's no big deal. We'll clean that up and fix up the scratches. That's easy to do. Okay, this is pretty gritty stuff. Okay, let's move that dirty thing. And here we go. What you're looking at here is years of dried up substrate. Now this is an inert substrate, it's no big deal. There's driftwood over there. Basically, that's all it was. Most of it was really plants. Now, if some of you guys remember my CO2 series, I mentioned something about in-tank reactors, and I said I didn't want to stick my hands in a tank to pull it out to show you. It's still in there.
I don't want to put my hand in there right now because it's dark there. I don't know what's in that tank. I haven't touched that tank in ages. Haven't cleaned it out in years. So I don't know what's living in there right now. Yeah, that's scary.
Well, I could show you now, so a little flashback. So right there is the in-tank reactor. Like I described in the CO2 series, it's just one of those like vacuum things with a pump on top, and you could easily make one yourself. Man, I got spider webs all over my camera. So that's the project. This project of the series is going to make a Discus tank out of this old tank I have here. You'll come through with me through the gym. We'll clean this sucker out, clean out all the scratches, make it look like new again. And if we're going to go with sump, we'll plumb it. What do you think? Sump, canister filter, whatever. Install the CO2, put in the aquascape, put in the plants, let it run, let it cycle, and we're gonna get some discus and probably a whole lot of cardinal tetras. Maybe I'll just go with the classic. Now, if you're not subscribed and you want to see the rest of this build, hit that subscribe button so you get notified. Hit that like button if you actually like this video. Remember, guys, I love you guys. And have fun with your tanks. And I'll see you in the next video. See you later, guys.